thanks for watching the podcast that matters. I'm your host, Juan.
And I'm your host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And we are Road
Bro,
Break.
hey,
Hey, thanks family for watching one more time. We always like to give you the best information, the best reviews in the community. And like any other Thursday, we have Dynamite in the morning with Mr. Jean-Paul Egg, and right now NXT. The best reviews, like I said. Hope all of you are doing amazing. And thanks for all the new subscribers. Thanks for watching our show. And Jean-Paul, how do you like this show of NXT?
it was good. And like I said, from watching Dynamite live and then going back watching NXT, it was just so much nicer than NXT. And this wasn't like an amazing episode of NXT. The finals of the Dusty Classic were good, and then there was a lot of good stuff in this NXT, but it wasn't obviously like the best episode ever. But I don't know. Like I just said, AEW is just they have the talent. They have their roster just talent wise compared to NXT talent wise is like even. It's just the booking and the storytelling, and I feel like NXT they always tell a good story, and I think they continued a lot of good stories here, ended some stories, and they just do a lot for storytelling, and that's what really keeps you invested.
Yeah, like I absolutely think that like AEW, this episode was really really weak. I
Hmm.
did not enjoy anything, and like we always are talking, like the opening was kind of solid, but that was it. Because the women's division is really, really, really bad. I gotta say, it's bad. It's not interesting. Like Nyla Rose and the other girl.
Big
Okay, what did
Swole,
they? Yeah,
yeah.
what did they do? Okay, is that supposed to like make me interested in the women's division? No. The Young Bucks winning every single week, burying the Butcher and the Blade. I will keep telling you why is the Bunny there? You know, and of course Cody has to win, but it looks forced with like an Anderson. I feel that like he like feels out of place, but going with Cody because there's no
Hmm.
really a relate. Why is there's not a really good reason for them to actually for him being managing Cody? Like Cody
Yeah, like I
doesn't need to
said,
be
yeah.
managed.
And also, like, you bury Kip Sabian like 3 crossroads. Like, what was the point of that?
Yeah,
Why did he have
like
to hit the crossroad 3 times?
unlimited finisher. He
Yeah,
have
I'm like,
unlimited finisher.
you make this guy look like a freaking jobber hitting your finisher on him 3 times.
Yeah, and yeah, like and well, the only one thing is I love when like they hit Kip Sabian and Penelope before they were making out, and when and they kissed Janela. Janela was in the middle of the kiss,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
that
said.
was
So
legit.
Janela, really legit, very underrated and unappreciated for me.
Yep.
But we're not going to talk about AEW because Jean Paul already took care of that. Great review is in the channel, so please go check that out. But today is the turn of NXT. And NXT opened up with Finn Balor and a guy that is a legit wrestler, but most of the time he focuses on losing. Trent Seven.
Yeah, and I thought that was going to be more the same here. I mean, it did get to that point, but not as fast as I thought it was going to be because Finn Balor, like, he, like, exploded out of the gate, and I thought Trent Seven, like, done. I think he rolled into the ring, and Balor, like, he kicked him right back out of the ring before the match really even started, and exactly, the little mustache mountain. I mean, Trent Seven, he looks like maybe he could hit the treadmill a little bit, but he still is a legit wrestler and all that. But I thought it was supposed to be Tyler Bate he was going against.
Yeah, like I don't know there was like that mini segment that Trent Seven was talking like to somebody
Hmm.
outside of the building, and then Finn Balor like pushed like the door
Yeah, the
of the
car
car
door
on him,
and
but like
wedged
I don't
his head
know.
in the car door. Yeah.
I think that next week is going to be Tyler Bate.
Okay.
I
And
think
I
he's
mean
going to
Finn Balor.
take care of
Yeah.
both. He's going to
Yeah.
take care of both. And do I really think that like Finn Balor is looking legit? Hell yeah. The guy is intensity. I really love the heel character. I feel that
Hmm.
like this new vibe that we get from Finn Balor is what we wanted it on the main roster
Oh
before
yeah.
after the injury. That's the Finn Balor that we all wanted to see. And I'm glad that like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, they were able to give him that back.
No, I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, like I mean, and Trent Seven, I really think that like he's a good wrestler, but like you said, like maybe a little bit, a few treadmills like sessions will be nice, but I agree with you on the fact that like he got a lot of offense on Balor, so it actually
Yeah.
was like a contested match, and I didn't know why. Like if Balor is supposed to be as good going into Takeover Portland, I don't know why they allowed Trent Seven to get that much offense on him. But I feel that like in the end, Finn Balor wins. He is doing great. He is going to go to Gargano, so the storyline continues. Although we didn't see Johnny Gargano at all in this show, But, we're going to take you to some spots in the match. Balor goes right back on the attack, hitting scoop slam and an elbow for another 2 count. Finn kicks Trent Seven's stomach again. Then he sets up for the 1916, but Trent reverses into a pinfall attempt for a 2 count. Finn kicks it out and holds Seven's momentum, hitting him with like a sling blade, and then Balor focuses his attack on Trent's neck, and we go to a commercial break. Then Balor is sent to the outside, and Seven hits a tope on Finn Balor. Then he tosses him back into the ring. Seven tries to get the top turnbuckle and sets for the moonsault, but Balor catches Seven and sends him to the mat. Balor hits Seven with a dropkick into the corner, and we all know what happens. It's time for what?
He sets it up, the coup de grace.
The coup de grace, and then, of course, 1916. And for the 3 count, Finn Balor wins. And like I said, Jean-Paul, do you think that, like, Finn Balor, his levels of intensity, I think that, like, he's never been seen in this kind of light. So
No,
that's
just
like, important.
even when he does like the coup de grace, like I feel if you watch a coup de grace from Monday Night Raw or SmackDown versus how he does it now, it looks like he's really laying those feet into the stomach. He's not like sometimes when they come down, only like their heel will like barely hit the stomach. It looks like he's really stomping into him. So the move, it looks more intense. And when he does the 1916, it looks like he's really dropping them on their head, and it's just like it's really cool to see, like you said, his intensity's there. And I was glad that Trent Seven got a little bit of offense in, but I felt like Balor still looked dominant, even though Trent Seven did get offense, because I like Trent Seven and I don't want to see him just be like the job guy and Tyler Bate is the guy who just wins out of the group. I like to see them, both look good. And like I said, this is how you make somebody lose, not like the Butcher and the Blade where they get zero offense in and just, get jobbed out, even though they're the way bigger opponent. It's like this, like he lost here, and we all knew it was going to happen. And I think next week, Tyler Bate might get the win, but that'll be because Gargano might come down and screw him or something. Screw with
Maybe
Balor, and then
that
that
could
could
be the
cause,
case. Yeah, I
yeah.
really feel that could be a really nice switch. And yeah, like for example, something that you're touching with the Butcher and the Blade, I'm like, who am I? How am I supposed to get behind this team if they can even get any offense? And
Hmm.
see, that is something that like I always watch your reviews of AEW. Like the Young Bucks need to like kind of like lose a little bit. I will say for you, okay, we all know how good they are. We know
Hmm.
what they're capable of, but we don't know anything about the Butcher and the Blade.
Yeah,
And
and like I said,
NXT,
you
go
don't.
yeah, just go ahead.
I mean, they don't even have to lose, but just like why couldn't it be a thing where they make the babyface comeback? They were pretty much in control that whole match against opponents that were like way larger than them. Have the Butcher and the Blade beat them down, and then the last, closing minutes of the match, they make a hot tag to either Nick or Matt. They come in, boom, 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 super kicks, Meltzer driver, okay, win. Don't dominate the whole match, hit your finisher and win, because that's like
Yeah,
who you going against? Local enhancement talent?
yeah. And for example, to me, I always will tell you, for example, see when seeing Almas, Vega is always a crucial part of like his offense and for the wins.
Mhm.
Shouldn't Ali play the same role?
Yeah.
Help them
And
out. Like she's a wrestler, she knows how
yeah,
to do moves.
yeah, like do a I mean, I don't know. Maybe don't wear tight leather pants. I maybe put her in an outfit that she can do something
Yeah,
to
like
help, or
and
like I don't know, punch a dude in the balls or something.
do something.
Anything.
See, so like that is something that they need to really change. And see, that's why NXT. I feel that like this couple of weeks actually they've been way better than what AEW is doing.
Yeah.
So we're going back to the show. Balor stares into the camera, and you will see like his whole chest was red because of
Mm-mm.
all the chops that Trent Seven gave him. But despite that, he was like, still like the intensity. He goes, Gargano, I'm coming for you, and I don't miss. So that was really cool. Then we got Kathy Kelly interviewing the Broserweights, Don and Riddle, and they talk about what they're going to do to win the Dusty Cup. And then we just get a video package about Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox. That's going to be later in the night. And then we go to Shotzi Blackheart. That's legit.
Yeah,
That was
like
a great entrance.
like I said, this whole her coming in on a tank is better than the entire AEW women's division. Like I would rather watch her entrance, 5 times over than watch a AEW women's match.
Yeah.
Because that like coming in on the tank, like her gimmick, you see, and the crowd is super behind her already. And to me, she like, she's already coming in a tank, but she's getting a rocket strapped to her, and she's gonna be one of these like main event women in NXT. Because like I said, I can clearly see after Mania, there's gonna be a lot of women probably called up to the main roster.
You see like
And
a
then,
shakeup coming up, and the
yeah.
one thing is like I'm so surprised how much they push this girl
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning. You know, the match with Bianca Belair that we did, then the elimination to Shayna Baszler in the Battle Royal,
Mm-hmm.
even like the Royal Rumble on Sunday. And she was also like another storyline on NXT that she had a little bit going on. And now like the tank, and now she fought Diana Perazzo. So
Mm-hmm.
like, and she won the match. So you see like the exposure that she's getting, and you know she's probably was really unknown like 2 or 3 months ago, and
Yeah,
now
she
she's
was. I
like,
mean, yeah, she was definitely big, like on the independent scene. But it was like who, like it's hard to pay attention to all that stuff. It's hard to pay attention to the big promotions, to everything that's going on. But like, I did hear of her before, and she wrestled in like a bunch, like intergender wrestling too, wrestling some men, kind of like how Candice LeRae and stuff did. But like you said, there's just relative like unknown in the sense where it's like unless you see things on the internet, you're not really going to know who she is. And then to come here and then it's just like boom, like I said, a rocket pack strapped to her. But like I mean, she has the gimmick, she has the look, and the fan support. So why not? You know.
and exactly, and I think like you said, her look fits really well with the NXT crowd. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like that emo, like rebel, hey, like I
Yep.
don't care attitude, and like hey, like everybody can relate to her so quickly. And
Mm-hmm.
see, that's what happened. So I'm gonna take you to some spots on the mat, Mr. Eck. Shotzi gets a moment of respite after swinging the swinging neck breaker. Then Shotzi hits a running splash and the bulldog on Perazo, followed by a question mark kick from Shotzi, covering Diona for the 2 count. Then Perazo hits a bicycle kick, while Shotzi hits the Perazo with the long blower, and then a senton splash from the top rope for the 3 count. And then she gets a win. And I, like you said, I feel that like this woman is the future of NXT, the future of that women's division, because like you said, after WrestleMania, there's going to be a lot of call-ups. So all the main women, for example, like you said before, Bianca Belair, boom, that's main roster right there because of all that good
Yep.
showing of the Royal Rumble.
Yep. Shayna Baszler is
Shayna
another one
Baszler,
for sure.
another one, bye-bye. So Shotzi is going to take that spot, and it's good. I feel that like she is already, blending with the crowd really well. Like she's
Yeah, and
already
they might
moving.
lose. And who knows what's going on with Io Shirai? I don't know if NXT works the same as WWE main roster, but she's in. She got injured in the match after the Battle Royal, like, and she hurt her knee. I don't know the severity of the injury, but she could be out for a while. And if she is that time added onto her contract or not? If it isn't, who knows how long her contract is? Because she could be going back to Japan soon, so that would be another loss.
And that will be
You
a
know,
big one. I think for
yeah,
both of us, you and me, will be heartbroken because we're big fans of Io, and like I hope that WWE open their check marks or the checkbooks, I will say,
yeah.
and then hopefully they can pay her enough so she doesn't leave because I really don't want Io to go somewhere else. I mean, like you said, Evolve or what's this the company in Japan that
Oh, the Stardom.
Stardom is
Yeah.
the one that like is offering really really big money to Io Shirai and being like the main woman of that promotion. Hopefully that doesn't happen because that will really break my heart. And then Shotzi gets back into the tank and then she leaves. Then we get a recap of our man Keith Lee defeating Roderick Strong for the North American Championship, and then he comes out and then he's talking about how he won the North American Championship and you deserve it, Chance. We're all happy for Kid Lee. I mean, the
Hmm.
man, and also like when he said it, like, "Hey, I'm Kid Lee, and I'm your new NXT North American Champion." The guys believe in it, and I'm absolutely in love with Kid Lee. He is just legit, and like he said, that finally the prophecy has been fulfilled. So out of nowhere, we get to see Damian Priest's music, and then he comes out and then he says, "Hey, man, I'm used to like taking stuff from people. I'm used to like getting
Yeah, he's
women
like
from people,
taking women, and it's like
taking."
you could tell he didn't know what to say. He was like,
He came out
so
with like, "So
taking women, and it's just like he sounds good when he speaks, but he just in his brain it was like you could tell he didn't really like know what he wanted to say.
or maybe he forgot a little bit. I don't know,
Yeah.
but like yeah, like you said, like it came out good though because I
Uh
like
huh.
to stop like take things from people and I like take women from people. It's like I'm not used to like earning things. I just take
Yeah.
what I want." And then he's asking a shot for the North American Championship. Out of there, another guy that like you and I, especially you, because like you understand the psychology of new wrestlers and everything. You promote is like Dominic Dijakovic, and he comes out too. And then it's the first time they actually listen to him talk.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and I want to hear more from him on the mic. Not that he was like a great promo, but it sounds good and it adds to his character.
It
Like
does, yeah,
he's
and
not bad. It's not like he was cringy or anything. He was, he said what he needed to say, and like I agree with him. Everything he said to Damian Priest.
oh yeah, he says that like he deserves more than anyone a shot at the North American Championship, and then he says, well, I deserve it more than you. So then Keith Lee, he's like, okay, it seems like you guys have something going on.
Yeah, that was, and,
So
and it's funny. Like when you see Keith Lee, you never think about him being small, but with all three of those guys, he was the shortest guy in the ring.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you looked, he was like a good couple, like a 6 or so inches shorter than those other two guys. He looked small. And
and
like, and I like when Dijakovic's like, you and I, we tore the house down. We had great matches, and then Keith Lee's like, "You're damn right we did," or something like that. And
yeah,
he was
damn
like, "Yeah,
right with it. That was really
yeah,
cool. So you could see like the chemistry that they have with Dijakovic and Keith Lee, and maybe because of the clothing that he had, it made it seem a little loose. Like he
mm,
looked like he looked a little tiny when it
mhm.
came to like Priest and Dijakovic.
Yeah, that's what I
But
mean. Yeah, it looked like you never would say Keith Lee is tiny, but in these land of these three giants, he was the shortest.
yeah, but like I really love when he goes, well, guys, it seems like you guys something going on. I might as well just go out. But then Dijakovic pulls him back and he's like, no, 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 you're not leaving. And then you see Priest going against Dijakovic, and then Keith Lee like in the distraction, he's like, all right,
Yeah,
you know what?
he just hits the mat and he rolls out. He's like, "Nope, I'm out of here." His
He's like,
eyes
see
got
you,
big. He's
dudes.
like, "Nope, I'm done."
He's like, where is these guys? And out of nowhere, impromptu, we get Damian Priest against Dominic Dijakovic, and this will set up the number one contender for the North American Championship for NXT Takeover Portland. So
Yeah.
of course, these two guys torn the house down, right?
Oh yeah, this match was. I mean, besides the Dusty Classic finals, this was definitely the highlight of the show for me because I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of both these guys. Like you said, especially Dijakovic, and just like you want to talk about. We said the first match where things looked legit. Like you're gonna take us through some of the spots, but like the poison spike Rana off the top rope. Dijakovic's head looked like it freaking got smashed, like a freaking or a hammer hitting a nail right into the mat. Kick out, like all these moves and stuff that they hit, they look super legit. Nothing looked fake. Nothing looked, like a guy was like pulling up. I mean, they were like hitting each other, and it was a fantastic match.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like, and see, this is and John Paul the Booker. Would him put him in a triple threat, or you would have done Dijakovic or Priest?
Well, you mean, I wouldn't have had him wrestle Keith Lee. He doesn't need to prove anything to wrestle these guys. It would be a one-on-one for like how they did it. And I don't think they actually, when the match was over, they didn't say like Dijakovic is the number one contender. They just say like this makes a case for him to challenge. Because I don't even know with all the matches. See, maybe you have a number one contenders match at um
Takeover
like
Portland.
at Takeover, yeah. Because I don't know if like Keith Lee just won it, and then for him to defend it, like I said, to defend it against Dijakovic, it's like, is he gonna beat him? Because I would like to see that feud later on down the line, and then that's who Keith Lee loses it to. Because Keith Lee, I think, won almost all their matches that they had in the past. So then
Oh
that's where
yeah.
it would like Dijakovic gets his win. So I would rather see him like, I don't know. There's so many guys. Killian Dane could come back. There's all these people. Who knows what is the winner of?
Velveteen Dream could come back
Yeah,
too, and
yeah.
then he
That's what I
would be
mean.
like,
There's all
I
these
won the
guys.
championship match.
Yeah. Cameron Grimes is
Yeah,
another
we
one.
haven't seen him in a few weeks.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. I think they could really set it up. To try to, instead of just like, oh, these two guys, they have a match, this guy wins, boom, that's your opponent. Like, build it up for a little bit, but I think Dijakovic is definitely in the running for like, he's definitely like the number one guy in the power rankings for the North American
In
Championship
the
after
in
that.
the NXT Roadbreak rankings, he
Yeah.
will be the number. He is the one that is the number one contender. Like we're gonna go the AEW route, and yeah, like I will say to me, and if you ask Juan, I'm not a good booker as you are. I'm sorry. I'm just learning. I'm getting into that mentality of booking stuff. But I would have done a triple threat match in Portland. Lee, Priest, and
Okay. Oh, I thought you meant tonight.
oh no, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
you mean in
anyway, but
Portland? Oh, in
yeah.
Portland. Yeah, I mean that would definitely be legit. If because I feel like NXT their triple threats are usually good. It's not like the WWE triple threat where one guy gets hit and then he rolls out of the ring for 5 minutes. Like they would do something where all three guys would be constantly involved. I thought you meant tonight a triple threat. I'm like Keith Lee came out in his freaking sweatpants and a hoodie. I don't see
Yeah,
him wrestling tonight, but oh yeah. At Portland, I could definitely see that.
it will
Yeah.
be good, right? Because like Priest also like he's extremely well over with the crowd and everything. So to me, having all the three guys in a row will be a really cool match, and it could
Mm.
be potentially as good as like Gargano and Balor or Ciampa and Adam Cole. So a
Mhm.
few spots on the match like we always do. Dijakovic rolls out of the ring and then Priest follows him out, hitting him with like a tope, like a Excalibur. Everything's a tope. Priest sends Dijakovic back into the ring, and they both hit each other with boots to the face, and both men go down. Then Priest gets to the top rope, and Dijakovic hits Priest with a kick to the face and gets Priest into the fireman's carry on the middle rope. But Priest reverses into the poison hurricanrana that Jean Paul already covered, covering Dijakovic for a 2 count. See, I thought that the match was over at this point. I'm like,
Oh
there's
yeah,
no way that he can kick
but
out.
see, the one thing that with NXT, they could hit a move, and like this is an issue I kind of have, but it's not. I have an issue, and then I don't. Is when they hit a move like this or like an avalanche Spanish fly, it's not over unless that's the person's finisher. All these
Yeah,
matches usually end with a finisher.
yeah.
Like he's gonna hit the well, what is Damian Priest's finisher? What do they
It,
call that?
what is it like?
The
It's
Reckoning.
the
I
reckoning.
think
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
he'll
yes,
hit that, or like Dijakovic will hit Feast Your Eyes. Like
yes.
they have to hit their finisher for it to be done. Otherwise, it's like unless it's a roll up, then it's all bets are off. Then it might be done, it might not be done. But when I saw this, I was like, it was a good a
It's
good
not done.
good
You
move,
said
but
it.
it's like it's not done. It's like
It's
he's
not
kicking out.
done. It's not done. And yeah, like that's a good call, Jump on. That's a really good point because like they should maybe do things like that every now and then when it's
Yeah.
such a like a high risk move that like you don't hit it on a regular basis. It's not part of like your repertoire. It's not part of your arsenal of moves. Maybe let him win like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it was only a 2 count, and then Priest goes for the reckoning, but Dijakovic escapes the hole, and then he gets Priest into the torture rack, and then he hits the Fizzy Rise on Priest, covering for a 3 count. Dominic Dijakovic gets the win, and like you said, he probably is, lobbying for a match at NXT Takeover Portland for the North American Championship. Legit match. I think that like those two guys, like they really did a great job to get the crowd going, and either, like I said, I can see a triple threat or Dijakovic against Kid Lee. And
Yeah.
maybe
And
Priest, maybe later on for WrestleMania weekend, maybe he can
yeah.
get his chance.
And like if you just look before we move on at NXT, the main event is stacked. You got like Balor, Gargano, Adam Cole, Tommaso Ciampa, and you got like that's like your main event four, you could say. You have the women's division, which is like you could have two women's divisions with all the women that they have. And they're look at NXT's mid card now: Keith Lee, Dijakovic, Priest, all these guys. You have tag teams, and you're kind of getting a tag team division. That's when you added. Hopefully, they're blending more NXT UK, and they have them over how they had Mustache Mountain a couple years ago. They were wrestling on NXT, America more often.
Yeah.
Maybe you have the grizzled young veterans. You have Alex Shelley and Kushida. So now they're kind of fixing their tag teams. Like NXT's whole roster is just completely stacked. There's not a weak spot, in my opinion, on their entire roster.
And see, like the good thing about the comment that you just said is like they were able to fix the tag team division within weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we've been calling for. We've been asking like,
Yeah.
hey, the tag team is weak. The tag team is weak. No,
Yeah,
it's
because
not.
yeah,
Give me a few
because
weeks.
you're
Boom.
gonna have at Portland, spoiler, which not really. It's been over 24, almost 24 hours. You have Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. They won the Dusty Classic, so they're gonna be a tag team for a while. The Broserweights, and they'll probably win the belt at Portland. So that's another tag team. So, you have these tag teams in NXT and you took two stars because they had such a deep roster in their mid card and their main event. Like, hey, let's take these two guys and make them a tag team until maybe they can sign another tag team or bring somebody else in. Then they can split the Broserweights back up and then they can go after, their respective singles championships or wherever. Maybe Pete Dunne challenges Walter again. Who knows what happens.
See, that would be legit because the whole time I've been thinking like, who's next for Walter?
Mm-hmm.
I just been thinking about the whole roster in WWE, the whole, and I just still cannot find a guy that it will be believable enough, like credible to actually go against Pete Dunne. But moving along, we're gonna go to Kari Kelly. she interviews Tommaso Ciampa backstage about how William Regal is announcing that Adam Cole opponents for Takeover. And then Ciampa says that at Takeover Portland, Gold is coming home. So that's the whole storyline, the whole
Yep,
theme
and
of
he
this
and he
match.
has like a metal pipe, and he's
Yes.
smashing it on the wall or whatever.
Yeah, man, it's a pipe, and then he's like, I'm making sure of it. So Ciampa hits like the pipe on a nearby metal pole, and then he walks off, and then we go to commercial, and back to commercial. Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong are all shown completely laid out, unconscious backstage, and Ciampa like his like shirt is kind of ripped off, and then he's just walking. He's just walking, and then he's like, he's talking to I know he's dragging a table. He's dragging a
Hmm.
table when he walks out of the ring. Then Ciampa sits at the table in the ring, and then the crowd chants "Psycho Killer, Psycho
Yeah, that
Killer."
was the
And
shit.
that was really cool, And then, see, Ciampa when Ciampa is like in like a badass mode, he's legit. I really
Hmm.
don't like the Ciampa from DIY. I don't know why, because it to
Yeah,
me is like two face, is like
yeah.
generic.
He's definitely better as like, and it's not fair to call everybody like this, but like the Stone Cold type baby face, where
Yes,
like you're a badass, but you're technically the good guy.
yes, absolutely. And then Ciampa pulls out like the yellow spray paint and sprays a yellow X on the table. And then
Yep, that
Adam
was
Cole,
legit.
yeah, that was really cool. I mean,
Because the
like,
one thing I want to say before we get into this segment is whenever we see a contract signing, it's like who's going to get power bombed, who's going to get Uranagi, whatever. There's going to be some move where somebody's getting smashed through the table and it's done. But at least this time he was like, "You come out here, I'm going to power bomb your ass through this table." So it was like to me this wasn't as bad, and it wasn't bad at all because that was his goal. His goal wasn't to just sign the contract and then if some bullshit fight starts, he's like, "I'm going to put you through this table." And that's like, to like, because I don't know how if you feel the same way, but whenever there is a contract signing on main roster, it's like you're just waiting for somebody to get put through the table.
yeah, well, it's
But
like at least in
at
this,
least
in
they,
this contract signing, he sent a statement by putting him through the table.
yeah, and he
You know,
already laid out all the other three members of Undisputed Era, so why wouldn't he lay out Adam Cole?
and exactly like why would you put kick all of them? I mean, pretty much hurt them,
Uh,
and the main guy you don't do anything.
yeah,
So yeah, it makes total sense what you're saying. So he does the X, and then Adam Cole is shown backstage, and then he finds out that the rest of the Undisputed Era are unconscious. And then he's asking like, "What the hell happened? What the hell happened?" So he rushes to the ring. He comes out, and then he's standing at the top of the ramp. And then Cole comes down and asks Ciampa, like, "Who the hell do you think you are?" And then he says, "I'm Goldie's daddy."
that
So it's
was
like, "You're
legit.
not getting Goldie. I'm Goldie's daddy, and tonight he's going to whoop Cole's ass." And then he power bombs him through the table as the S in the X. When there was that spot, when the X, he powers bomb Adam Cole into the table, and then he takes the Goldie, and then he says, "That's gonna be my championship. Daddy's coming home." So, or Goldie's coming home, I should say. So he gets the title, and that's how we go out of the segment. And I think
Yeah,
that like
I do like how when he signed the contract, he is like he's looking around, he's like, "Where the hell's a pen? There's no pen anywhere." And then he like reaches out, some guy, some cameraman or whoever hands him a pen, he signs it, and the crowd is just like, use your blood," because before Cole like kicked him in the head, and I don't know if it was like a spot that they planned or if it was just accident and the fans were chanting it, but it was really cool. And he just swipes his and then just rubs the blood on the thing. Because like I said, it's like the fans were the ones that were like, "Use your blood." It wasn't like the Fiend who's like, "Oh, I'm going to sign in my blood," and whatever. And it was like the fans chanted it and he did it, and it just added to like the whole, because the fans popped for that then. Because he could have
yeah,
just
and
he could have ignored them and just signed it with a pen and been done. But nope, he wiped the blood from his forehead on the contract, and they were like going crazy.
it reminded me a little bit of Sideshow Bob, from The
Yeah.
Simpsons. It reminded me because like every time like he's writing to Bart, like he's going like like he's going like he goes like this, like he pinches himself and then he starts writing, and
Uh,
then like I like those references. I don't know why. I mean, you might think that I'm also like I'm maybe out there, but I really like how like he followed the crowd, like you said, like the
mhm.
crowd was asking him to do something, and
Yeah.
like is you see that organic relationship? Hey,
Mhm.
we want you to do this, and he did it, and that
Yeah.
added a lot of to the segment. So it is announced. It is announced that Adam Cole against Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT Championship, and there's going to be a Takeover Portland. And then we
Yeah.
also are. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I did like before, like when when Cole came out, and then Regal came out, and he's like, "Yeah, Adam Cole signed this earlier. He said he'll face anybody. So here you go, Ciampa." And then Cole takes it from him, and he's like, "No, like he almost didn't want to face Ciampa."
Yes.
Yeah,
That I really appreciate because he's like, here, and he's like, hey, give me that. He's like,
yeah.
no, I don't want Champa. I don't
Yeah,
want.
so that was cool too. And like Regal, he's all like his eyes were big and wide. He had a smile on his face. He's like, he already signed it. Here you go. And then
Mhm.
Cole's like, what the hell? Like, no.
I
Yeah,
have,
so that
yeah.
was cool.
It's really cool to see how, like you said, you always said this is like NXT knows how to take care of detail. Like
Hmm.
they're so like, and they make it like, see, for example, that is you could consider entertainment. You
Hmm.
know, you don't need the cheap jokes. You don't
Oh
need
yeah.
like the lameness. You don't need like a stupid like cringy moments. You don't.
Hmm.
You just need like legit like spontaneous moments like this.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, he already signed. He's kind of
Yeah.
like when we did the Monday Night Raw retro. Remember,
Hmm.
I'll face anybody. Oh
Yep.
well, you said anybody, and here's
Yeah,
my guy.
exactly.
Same
Because then
thing.
that,
Like,
yeah, because you got it like Cole, and Shawn Michaels at that time were like the same thing. They were like like not a cowardly heel champion, but they were like a little bit cowardly because Cole always uses the numbers game and this and that, and it's just like a
yeah,
heel move. It's just like a heel move. So it's a story like they say, in the Disney movies. It's a tale as old as time.
yeah,
But why change it if it's not broken? Like, don't
exactly. And
try to
then
do something new and different, and then it just comes off cringy. Just stick to what works.
And like you said, for example, see that comparison is something that a lot of people are doing. Is Shawn Michaels is like what Adam Cole it is right now. Like
Yeah.
Adam Cole, it resembles Shawn Michaels when Shawn Michaels was younger. You
Hmm.
know, at that time, and Adam Cole does the same thing. So it is absolutely what you're saying. And we get reminded of the matches that are going to be, taking place in Portland. We said already, Champa and Cole, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. We didn't hear anything from them today. We didn't see them because they're going to have a stare down next week. And also, we're going to get Gargano and Finn Balor. That's the biggest rivalry in
Hmm.
NXT right now. And then we go back to like a current rivalry that like we were waiting for this match. We were both excited about it. And it's Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai.
Yeah,
I think
this
the match.
was yeah. I mean, I'm fine when I was watching it, and it was like, and it ended and all that. It was like okay, but at the same time, I was fine with it because, like I said, I did not want the feud to end here, and I wanted it to end in some kind of screwy, BS kind of way. So I'm happy that that's how it ended because, like I said, this feud deserves more than just a match on NXT to be the blow off. It should be at a Portland. It should be somewhere special.
Oh yeah, you know what I really like is like Tegan Knox comes out, right? But like before Dakota Kai comes out, you probably pay attention to this. The whole rivalry as Dakota Kai was coming out, like the whole rivalry was shown in
Yeah,
the
that was
time.
like her Titantron image. Yeah, instead of just
Yeah,
like highlights of her, it's like highlights of like her beating down Tegan Knox,
yeah, that was where
which
like,
was
and it
cool.
was all black and white. It was
Yeah,
like kind of like that was really cool. And
yeah.
then, then
I
Tegan
know
Knox
you.
is looking at.
I know you popped for the black and white.
I love black and white.
Yeah.
That's one of like I don't know when it comes to video, when it comes to telling a story, black and white to me it
Oh, it's
adds a lot.
I like it for something like that where it's like in the past because it makes it feel like it gives it that feel like this was something that's in the past. Because black and
Yes,
white you normally associate with like old videos, old movies. So like I thought it was cool too.
it's just a good way, like you said, to resemble past, but putting it, joining it with the present and also the future. And
Mhm.
see, I really love how Tegan Knox was looking at that. It's like, look what happened to me. Look what my best friend in the world did to me. Look what Jean Paul did to me when it was
Yep.
my turn to come out to War Games, and then he beat my ass and with my own knee brace. So that's something that I really appreciated. The match, like you said, a little short. I don't know. I mean, maybe like you're saying, like they're gonna add another match at Takeover, so the feud is not really over. That's my thought when it comes to that. That's probably my prediction also. But when it comes to the match, it was like really quick. So,
Yeah.
and I didn't really like how it came out, but like it
Yeah,
was.
I mean, I didn't. I mostly didn't care for the ending. Like in the beginning, they were brawling outside the ring and stuff, and it was like a 6 or 7 count till they made it back in. But then, I mean, take us through it, and then I'll give my
Sure.
opinion. Then,
Oh well, yeah. Thank you, Mister. Like Kai goes and grabs a steel chair to use on Tegan Knox, but then Knox kicks Kai before she can use the chair. Kai rolls back into the ring and Knox grabs the chair, but the referee stops her from bringing into the ring. So Kai grabs the knee brace and then tries to swing it at Knox, but then Knox ducks and kicks Kai. Then Kai goes onto the outside and Knox goes for a suicide dive, but Kai catches her with a strike to the face before Knox can leave the ring. Kai grabs the chair and then goes to strike Knox, but Candice LeRae comes out from behind and stops Kai from hitting Knox. And then the referee is distracted by LeRae with a chair, and then Knox hits Kai with a knee brace to the face, and while the referee was just turned with his back turned, and then she catches Kai with a shining wizard, and then he pins her for a 3 count.
Yeah, so I didn't care for the whole, like, I don't know if they're doing this just because they don't have anything else to do with her, but I don't like the inclusion of Candice LeRae
I did not care for
at
that
all.
either.
Because, like I said, when we saw Tegan Knox come back, Candice LeRae was like, "Oh, I'm so happy," and she was hugging her and this and that, and it was like, "Oh, okay, cool, whatever." But I don't like her inclusion in this feud because now, like, it almost diminishes the fact that if Tegan Knox beats her, it's like, yeah, you couldn't beat your heel ex-best friend without the help of someone else. So, like, how legit are you really? Like, you needed someone else to win. It's like, that's not how a feud should be blown off.
Exactly. And for example, Chiampa, doesn't this remind you of like when Io Shirai was trying to fight Shayna Baszler, who kept coming out all the time?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, dude, just like, I don't mind seeing Candice LeRae, don't get me wrong, but it's like, hey, just stick back and just do your own shit. Like,
it kind of like, it seems to me that like they don't have anything for Candice.
Yeah,
and that's why there's like, yeah, just show up. It's like for example, you and me are going at it, and Jeter comes out on your strings. Jeter, there's a high for you. Like Jeter comes out and helps me to like pin you. Come on, it's like you're making me look like I'm not able to beat you by myself.
And that's the thing where I think all this stuff now. I think Tegan Knox is going to go back. She's going to bitch to Regal saying, "Hey, she watched the footage. She used the knee brace, and Candice LeRae came out and this and that. I want a rematch." And then that's why I think they're going to maybe book it for Portland. But if they do, it needs to be one-on-one, woman on woman. I don't want to see Candice come down. Yeah, I don't want to see none of that.
Interference.
And make it a no. If you make it a no DQ, then you probably will see Candice. But let them have the toys. Steel chair, kendo stick.
Make it no holds barred.
Knee brace on a rope. Whoever can grab the knee brace first, wins the match.
You can do a ladder match, and whoever grabs it, then that person can use it. And see, Jean Paul, now I have a question for you. You know anesthesia. That's how I ask the questions. There was a cryptic commercial, and it said February the 5th, 2020. Who's debuted? Somebody is gonna come out and is going to revolutionize the NXT world. So we don't know who it is. So that was a cryptid message right there. I don't know who it's going to be. It might be Killer Cross.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully it's him and his woman. Bring them both together.
That's fine.
Have them have him and like Scarlett Bordeaux, have like that be like his valet, his manager. I mean, have her still wrestle as well, but have them, you might as well put them together. Because then they both get equal screen time. When she's wrestling, maybe Cross can come out, or he doesn't have to. But when he's wrestling, she could come out. And that's the way you get her more screen time. And for the people who aren't watching wrestling for the plot the way I am, they're watching it for the different plot. Then they can watch and see Scarlett Bordeaux, and they'll be fine with that.
I'm watching for both, but like I will go a little bit more for, when it comes to Scarlett. But I mean, a beautiful woman adds anything.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like I'm thinking it because I don't know who else it could be.
I will never be against Mr. Leek to the beauty of a woman. I will never be against that. And if I get Killer Cross, that is a killer, and beauty and the killer, I'm not against that. So I'm thinking that's.
I think it's going to be him as well because, like I said, his fiance. I don't think they're actually married. I think it's just fiance.
Yeah, they're engaged.
She's there. Why would he go to AEW? And also for me, just. John Paul's being a hater. Why would you go to AEW when they're not going to use you? You're not friends with the elite. You're not in the elite. You're not going to do anything.
You're going to end up like Mr. Sean Spears.
Yep.
Sitting in that chair, waiting for a chance.
With the hood on, just all sad, and Tully Blanchard's rubbing your back, saying it's okay. Maybe Impact will take you.
Yeah, or maybe Ring of Honor, Tully every time he unfolds the thing, and he's like, "Are you still here? All right. There you go, boys."
Puts the hood back on him.
Yeah, it's like, okay, let's wait for next week for AEW Dark. Yeah,
exactly.
We're just criticizing because it's the truth. We talk with the truth here. All right, we can handle the truth actually.
Exactly.
So Mr. Leek, Chelsea Green with Robbie Stone, aka Robbie E, against Kaden Carter. A match that it was a little quick and actually with a different outcome, surprising outcome, because everybody's talking about Chelsea Green, how good she is, how like her past from Impact, her relationship with Mr. Zack Ryder, the previous former Internet champion. So everybody thought that she was gonna get the win, and in this case, actually, Kaden Carter gets the win, surprising everybody.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know. Like, I don't think Chelsea. I don't think she's won on NXT yet. You know what I mean? I'm like, I
No,
don't know what they're doing with her.
no,
It's such a weird thing. Like, I don't think that. I mean, she's going to be used, and at some point, it's not like they just bring her in and give her this manager and this and that just to lose. But there has to be some plan. But I would definitely was surprised. But it's good. But I like Kaden Carter though. I think as good as Chelsea Green is, I think she's better, and I like her move set and stuff more. So I'm glad. And she was the one who was the same thing. She was losing to like Bianca Belair and all these other people, and so it's like it's good to see her get a win
oh yeah,
as
yeah,
well though.
and I, for example, I like when I think of Kaden Carter, it reminds me like a younger Naomi. Good
Hmm.
in the ring, springboard, like she's very athletic. She knows what
Yeah,
she's doing. So,
yeah.
or
I
like
like her.
an Amber
Yeah,
Moon.
yeah.
Amber
I
Moon.
like. Yeah, I was gonna say I like her look and her move set more than Naomi, but I do see the similarities because I
Yeah,
feel she reminds and almost like a just with her hair, it almost reminds me like she's like a female predator, like with the
yeah,
dreadlocks and stuff, and
yes,
she like
yes.
kind of has that like not like a ninja, but just like her ring gear. Like it doesn't look just like a traditional woman's ring gear, just the top and then the bottom with the boots. She has like her outfit is cool and it's different. So that's why I really like her, and I'm glad to see that she did get a win. But it is, it's strange because it's like if you're gonna book Chelsea Green, I would just have her beat enhancement talent. Just
Yeah,
bring somebody from the local area and have her beat them.
I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what's the real plan with Chelsea Green. So hopefully, maybe they're doing like rock bottom all the way up.
Yeah,
Like
because she was wrestling on main event and she was beating Sarah Logan,
yeah,
Chelsea
and
Green. So it's like she's on the main roster beating people, and then on NXT she loses, and it's like, but nobody watches main event. So it's like, who the
I
hell
don't
knows?
even
Yeah,
think that like their own wrestlers watch main event. I think it's
exactly. That's
those
what I mean. So I'm
unwatchable
like, yeah,
shows,
like what is going on with this
like
booking? But
hidden gems. I think that's what they call it.
yeah,
Like yeah, so some highlights from the match. Green stomps Carter's face into the bottom turnbuckle, then gets Carter into another corner and kicks her away from her. Then Green picks it up Carter, then she locks into a headlock. Then Carter gets her feet, but Green slams Carter right back down to the ring. Green picks up Carter and Carter rolls up Green for a 2 count. Then Carter gets a super kick on Green, followed by a roll up and a back kick on Green for another 2 count. Then Green catches Carter with a big boot, and then Carter is knocked out. Then Green taunts the crowd and walks all over Carter, but Carter was playing possum and rolls up Chelsea Green for a 3 count. So of course she's gonna say, "Well, you rolled me up. It wasn't clean.
yeah,
You
and that's
cheated."
and that's a thing too. Like these don't need to just be one-off matches. Like the Shotzi Blackheart and Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna was the one who I believe called her out like last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. So it's like have a little feud there and do the same thing here with Chelsea Green and Caden Carter. And I know if I have these relationships correctly, because I'm not a fucking loser who just cares who's dating who, but I think Deonna Purrazzo is dating Marty Scurll. And Marty Scurll and Zack Ryder are good friends, and Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo, I think, are good friends. So you could do something where you bring her maybe into this thing with Robbie E, and then you could get, because if you put Caden Carter and Shotzi Blackheart, I mean, they don't look that similar, but the two of them, you could do some sort of match with like the two of them team up against Deonna Purrazzo and
Chelsea
Chelsea
Green.
Green, and that's what I mean. You could do something like that and really not just have it be one-off match that it's like, oh, okay, 5-minute match, who cares, like whatever. Really build something with these four women,
You
and
have like a
then
real rivalry going on right
yeah,
there. Yeah.
because that's what I mean, and that's the thing where it's like I wish these tag team championships weren't just, and nothing against the Kabuki Warriors because I love both those women, they're extremely talented, but they're not doing anything with the belts. Asuka was in this feud how long with Becky Lynch? Now she's in this feud kind of with Charlotte. So take the belts off them and bring them to NXT.
No, yeah,
And then
that
you
would
could
be
have the
something
tag
that
team
would be
belts.
better.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Especially
then
if
you
you're
could.
not going to do anything with the titles in the main roster. At
Yeah.
least have them in NXT, and maybe they will put them to better use.
Yeah.
Something that I want to touch really brief, Jean Paul, is like Did you love how Beth Phoenix addressed the situation with Edge
Oh, in
in
the
the
beginning
beginning
of
of the show?
yeah, I did like that, and I did make a mental note of that when I was watching it last night, but then I did completely forget. So thanks for bringing that up. I do like how she wasn't just like, "Oh, hey, I'm happy to be here, NXT." She was really somber, and you could hear it in her voice. She's like, she said it
So
was like a an emotional weekend. Both of them returning, and it should have been something that they were celebrating, but now she's like she's like upset. Excuse me, she's upset and everything, and then she was like, but Adam told me to come to work because that's what we do, and this and that. So she was saying like she pretty much got his blessing, but she would have rather been at his side, but he was like, no, go to work, blah blah blah. So
that's
like it was
what we
legit.
do. Yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
that's what we do. We go through suffering.
Yeah.
We just know how to keep going through
Mhm.
this difficult moment. And she was
Yeah,
kind of
and she
sobbing.
was and I guess that I forget what they said the reason why, but remember when we were watching the Rumble, it made me think of this. And Edge comes in, and the first person he spears is Dolph Ziggler, and right when he's about to spear him, they cut the camera to the crowd.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess in the version they're re-editing it, and if we watch it back, I don't know when this is gonna like go into effect, but if we watch it back on the network, you'll be able to see Edge spearing Ziggler.
You know who did that? You know who complained? Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler complained because he Edge spear Ziggler, and Ziggler's like, why would not show that is his first spear back,
I was just
and
gonna
like,
say this is
and
just
this
spear
cat,
back
and
after yeah.
I remember even you text me that. You're like,
Yeah,
why the hell they don't show the spear? Like
yeah,
he's out, and like who the hell was running the camera? And
yeah.
then
Well,
they
we know
focus on
who.
that. So that was really cool that
Kevin
they kept
Dunn.
the storyline going.
Yeah,
Like you said, like Beth Phoenix was actually
yeah.
really
And
uh
Beth Phoenix was badass. She was to me like in the top. She was probably the third most impressive woman in that whole Rumble, if
yeah.
not the number two. Freaking cracking open her head. I was a spot I saw online. Nobody knows exactly when, but she was thrown, I think, by Bianca Belair into the turnbuckle,
Yeah.
and the top of her head. It was like it went past the pad and it hit the actual ring post.
Yes. Yes.
It hit the back of her head, and I didn't even know she was bleeding. I thought her hair was just dyed, like she had blonde, and then it went into like brown.
Yeah.
But that was the freaking blood.
Oh yeah.
That's how
It
much
was.
blood there was. And like they
It was.
said, she could have passed out or something like that. But I mean, she's a badass, and she stood in there, and you know,
Yeah.
she had a great showing. But I don't know why. And I guess it's the PG era and this and that. But there was and I went back and watched it a little bit. There's so many cuts from like anytime you see the back of Beth's head, camera angle change, and then she might turn, and then quick changes. There were so many camera changes
So they
because
edited.
so they didn't want to show the back of her head, and it's like it makes you dizzy because it's like just focus on one angle for longer than like a half a second. But they're
Yeah.
just so scared of showing the blood. It's like what the? It's like who
It kind
cares?
of sucks, but like going along to what you said, like she got busted open. So when she actually people were telling the referee was telling her, no, you need to go. It's like
Uh-huh.
because they were concerned about her bleeding, but she kept going through all the spots. So she got eliminated as planned.
Hmm.
Went to the back, and then she got a few stitches. And they were saying, no, Beth, you need to like stay here. You're good. Like, no, I gotta see my husband come out. And
That's
then she
legit
was
though.
right there waiting for Edge to come out. He came out, he did his thing, and then they both hug. So you can tell, that's how badass both of them are
Yeah,
and how
and what are you gonna
supportive they
do?
are of
Tell
each other.
her what are you gonna do? Tell her no? She'll just glam slam your ass right,
Exactly.
to the
Like Beth
concrete.
Phoenix, Beth Phoenix is legit. I just have one word to define Beth Phoenix. She's legit, and
Mhm.
way better as a color commentator. Like for example, Renee Young. Like she's actually a wrestler that knows how to comment.
Yeah.
She's learning from two great guys like Moronalo, Nigel McGuinness. So
Hmm.
good for her. Awesome work. They keep the storyline with Randy Orton and Edge. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, Monday Night Raw Review with Jean-Paul Leec. And you can see everything about that storyline that Edge and Randy Orton just are starting to feud for WrestleMania. But right now, we're going to switch gears. We're going to go to the main event of NXT, and that's the Dusty Rhodes Classic, the final. Broserweights versus the Grills Young Veterans. Jean Paul, there was, I think, no better match to conclude this tournament, and I think the right winners end up with a cup, and
Oh,
also they have an
absolutely.
opportunity to challenge the Undisputed Era for the NXT Tag Team Championship at NXT Takeover Portland.
Yeah, and I agree. And like, I think the Grizzled Young Veterans, they benefited obviously the second most out of this tournament because they look so much more legit. Not even just in the eyes of, wrestling fans all over, but for the people who weren't familiar with them. And even in the NXT UK brand, they can go back there and they could say, we beat Undisputed Era. We beat Alex Shelley and Kushida. We want to challenge for the NXT UK tag team championships again. They could go back and make that case. So, I mean, they definitely didn't look bad by losing here at all. And, it was a fantastic match. I still think I like the one with Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews a little more against the Broserweights. I think that match was a little better, but this match was still fantastic.
I really think that like their best match was with them, with the first tag team with Morgan and I
Andrews.
and Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews,
Yeah.
yes. I think that because why? Because these guys are springboard, are more intense. Like they take chances, they
hmm
take risks. I mean, the Grizzly Young Veterans, though, the exposure that they have right now is now everybody in America knows them.
hmm
So
And
they're
that's the
not
thing. And like,
the NXT
yeah.
UK guys anymore. It's like everybody knows that they're a legit tag team because they are a legit tag team.
hmm And
I
their
mean,
their finisher that I couldn't think of last week, and it pissed me off. I couldn't think of it. Ticket to Mayhem, because it's a badass name for their finisher. See,
Ticket
and
to
then
Mayhem. Oh yeah,
yeah,
like he's like I said, like these guys are like really really good. I mean, you can see why Shawn Michaels loves them.
hmm
Maybe in the promo wise, maybe not our cup of tea,
yeah. The only
but
thing I don't like is how the one guy doesn't talk.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, what is
and
what is this? What's his name? Who's the one who doesn't talk? What's
well, the
his?
one of them is Gibson. And Gibson
Yeah,
is the ball guy.
yeah.
Gibson is the ball guy, and then Drake.
Oh,
Drake.
James Drake. Yeah,
James Drake, yeah.
yeah,
Drake
yeah,
is the
yeah.
one that like he doesn't know how to talk. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's like so.
it is so I don't know. I mean, Gibson does all the work, but when it comes to the ring ability,
Oh,
absolutely
they're
great.
both they're
Both of them.
both super legit.
To me, it's the kind of those tag teams like the Revival, like the Usos, like we can say the Box. We'll say that for
Yeah,
tag team
The
purposes.
Lucha Bros. Even though it's like that's like when you think of the Lucha Bros, it makes me think of the New Day. Who?
Yes.
Because we haven't seen them in forever. And like I said, ever since they did the reset with the records, the Lucha Bros have looked like losers.
Yeah. And hopefully in
Phoenix
this
lost two
next
weeks
week
in
they
a
don't
row.
lose. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they'll lose. Come on, come on,
And well, and
come
then John Paul will be giving
come.
a great review on Dynamite, so I will not miss that for my life.
Yeah, you don't want to miss if the Lucha Bros lose. You don't want to miss that review, folks. Let me just say.
Actually, I want to go ahead and say if the Lucha Bros lose, you might see me doing AEW Dynamite because Jean Paul is going to be done
It
with this
it might be
company.
NXT. It might be NXT in the morning.
It might be NXT in the morning. So you guys, we're putting money right here.
Yeah.
So the Lucha
This
Bros
is
win
real. This is a shoot, folks.
is a shoot, and is right here live on Robreak.
Yep.
If the Lucha Bros lose, you might see Juan doing an AEW Dynamite. It will be the Spanish God against the other Spanish God.
Yeah.
The real Spanish God is me, all right? Because see, I was born in South America, okay, Mr. Sammy Guevara. Anyway,
Mhm.
so Jean Paul, great, like I said, great final for the Dusty Rhodes Classic, and for the Grills Young Veterans. For me, the outtake that they should get is like just everybody knows them now.
Oh my
And
God! Yeah, you
and if
gotta.
they want
Yeah.
to, they can stay attacked in the NXT brand.
And you
They don't
gotta
have
think
the
Jordan.
need to go
Yeah.
to
And then
Kane.
one thing they said Jordan Devlin is gonna be there next week to address the NXT crowd. He's the new cruiserweight champion. And so there's going to be, I really like this meshing of NXT and NXT UK because it's like, oh, let's go back a little bit. When Worlds Collide was first announced, what did we think? Oh, this is going to be kind of a bullshit show. Their first thing with promoting it, with no offense, was Chris Hero, and he was going against somebody else. And it's like, okay, like, because Cassius Ono is on NXT UK. So it's like, did you know that? I didn't know that until he came out and was promoting this show. So it's like, okay, who cares about this show? Then they really made it a legit show, a can't miss show, and it was a great pay per view. So now it's like, okay, was it one and done? What are they going to do? But now you're seeing Jordan Devlin one, so he's going to be on NXT, both shows promoting the Cruiserweight Championship. And now, we have Trent Seven coming over here, Tyler Bate probably next week. and hopefully the Grizzled Young Veterans stay. Maybe they challenge another team.
Whoever
Maybe
wins, and in
yeah.
this case, they can lobby. If let's say the Broserweights, they win the championships, they can be, hey, we were in the final, so give us an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Like you
That
could
would
do
be a
something.
legit way to start. Like the Broserweights as champions
Hmm.
defending with the Girls Young
Yeah,
Veterans.
and you could even do something where they go to challenge them, and then the Forgotten Sons are like, "Who do you guys think you are?" Blah blah blah. Then the Forgotten Sons and the Grizzled Young Veterans can have a little feud with obviously the Young Veterans winning, but it could be something where again we see them messing it up with tag teams on that NXT. Like you said, this like Worlds Collide. My whole point was when it first started, I didn't think it was going to be anything big, but I really like it because NXT UK deserves exposure, more exposure in the United States to help that brand grow because they have
Yes.
so many talented people over there with their
Something that I
tag
would love
teams
to see
and all that.
is actually two things, Mr. Leg. NXT UK, Angel Garza shows up and he starts
Hmm.
attacking Devlin. So that
That
would
would
be
be
extremely
legit.
great. That would be legit. Hey,
That,
NXT Piper Niven shows up.
hmm Yeah,
Piper Niven
and that
shows
would
up and
be
starts
something like
attacking
too.
Rhea
You could
Ripley.
have, like in the flip that, and it could be Tyler Bate could be wrestling, and then you have Finn Balor maybe show up, and he attacks Finn Balor during, or he attacks Tyler Bate during one of his matches or something.
Yeah.
You could have all this different stuff. Really mesh these two brands together because they are both NXT.
Is don't do it
It's
just for one night and forget
yeah,
about it. Keep
yeah,
coming
which.
those, and then you're building for Worlds Collide, for next year. Even,
Mhm.
you start now. So again, the right winner won. We have the Broserweights winning, and we're gonna take you to some spots. Pete Dunne and Drake tag in, and Drake tries to launch himself onto the Broserweights of Gibson's back, but they catch Drake and power bombing on Gibson. They hit the Riddle land on Drake, but Drake kicks out of two. Then Gibson gets Dunne in an electric chair on the outside, and Drake spears Dunne off of Gibson's shoulders through the middle rope. That was a great spot.
That was
You
legit.
know, that reminded me kind of like the finisher of like the Legion of Doom, but like
The
even
Doomsday
going like
device, yeah.
yeah, and then going through like the middle robe and everything, and really well executed. Like I just saw Gibson going like
Oh yeah,
this,
and
doing
that's
flips.
a thing to just interject here quick. All four of these guys, the cardio is legit. Like they're doing moves, and you think these guys are gassed out, and then they just turn it into another gear, and it's like where these guys, everything flowed so smooth. It looked good. Nothing looked weird or like a spot. It was like it all just moved and flowed really well.
And
And
that's
like
it.
I
Like
said,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, back to like none of these guys look winded. Then none of them were like, and like, oh, they could barely do the move, and it's like, oh, you're clearly out of shape. Like all four of these guys are extremely well conditioned, and like this match, like it was just like a work of art. You watch it, and you can really appreciate the talent and all these guys have.
And you just see, when like this, when guys like this, like with the flow of the match, you don't have to like wait for the main spots.
Hmm.
They're not like I said we said before, like tuk 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 tuk, wait for the
Yep.
move. It's like you just see like there's a lot of action going on, and then the moves take place. Like you perform the move, so you're not waiting for that. So that was really
Exactly.
cool to watch. So back in the ring, then we get to see the Grizzly veterans make the tag, and then Drake's his like a 450 splash on Matt Riddle for a 2 count. Another great spot. So I thought, okay, like these guys are legit.
Hmm.
Drake might not be able to talk, but like he's a hell of a wrestler.
Oh yeah.
So Gibson tags in, and then they set up Riddle for a power bomb, but Pete Dunne comes in, and they both hit power slams on the Grizzly veterans. Then that hits a moonsault onto Gibson on the outside, and then Riddle hits a moonsault onto James Drake. Back in the ring, then Dunne tags in Matt Riddle, and then pickups Drake for the bro to sleep. But then Dunne catches Drake instead with a kick to the face, covering James Drake for the victory. So the winners are the Broserweights, and then they're celebrating. They do the thing that Matt Riddle goes like this, and then Pete Dunne is like this,
Hmm.
and they get the cup, and then we get a little bit of fireworks, and we get the winners of the Dusty Classic for 2020. I think well deserved. I will say something that Mauro Ronaldo said. These guys been together for 3 weeks, and they're already the winners. But something that you mentioned before, every time is like these guys that win the tournament, they happen to be new form tag teams.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new that they've done because the very first ones, Balor and Samoa Joe, were not really a tag team before the
Yeah.
tournament was done.
Yeah, and then I'm not sure who won after that. But because what is this 2020? So it was Riddle and Pete Dunne And then last year it was it an Undisputed Era last year? Or no,
No,
last year was
last year was
Aleister Black.
Ricochet and Aleister Black.
Yeah, and then the year before I think it was Undisputed Era.
Yes, it was undisputed there.
And then I don't know, was it Joe and then I don't know who it was before them. Again,
I don't
but
really
anyway,
recall.
like if you look back, a lot of the times it's not like like you said, it's not even tag teams. It's just
Yeah.
legit guys, but that just but that's like we've been saying, that's in the spirit of the Dusty Classic. That's kind of like what the whole and like, tag teams and like that's what they did kind of back in the day. It wasn't always just guys that were tag teams, that you made them a tag team and then they started to like maybe wear similar gear or, similar this and that. But it wasn't always, oh, these two guys look the same or they're brothers or whatever. We'll put them together. Like you gotta sometimes you put them together and then you make the tag team, not you make the tag team and then put them together.
Yeah, but like I said, like Steve, it's really cool to see these guys and like you're doing something meaningful with Riddle and Pete Dunne.
Yeah, because also
because
let's
these
be
guys
real.
like
What would you
middle
do? Like,
cut.
yeah, like what would you do with them? Like Pete Dunne's not going to win the North American Championship. That was, Keith Lee. That's where they were going with that. And you're not going to have Matt Riddle go against Adam Cole at Portland. That's Tommaso Ciampa.
Exactly.
So it's like, what are you going to do with these two guys? Why not put them in a tag team and then put them in that division for a little while?
So yeah, I feel that like great show. I think Wednesday Night Wars. I think this time is NXT turn to get the win. We'll see what the ratings say.
Like I said, I think in my Dynamite review, I said I think it'll be close. I think AEW will win because, like I said, all their fans are just, I don't want to talk about ill of the fans because I'm a wrestling fan as well. But I think AEW's diehard fans are their diehard fans. That they'll watch it and they won't, even if NXT is better, they won't watch NXT. They're gonna watch Dynamite. But I think that now people are starting to like see, and I think that the ratings will be closer, but I still think Dynamite will win out this week.
I feel that like AEW needs to start doing a little bit more, and like I said, the women's division is something that is really dragging them, holding them down, because like again, the other ones have like NXT have a way better women's division, and show to show, comparing everything as a whole, I think NXT has the bigger the edge.
Yeah, and also
it's not Adam Cole. Yeah. It's just the edge of a better show.
Yeah, and also like there's just so many things that I said like they booked, and it was like, what is the point? Like they did the Dynamite Diamond, dozen battle royal thing, and what was the point of that ring? You had MJF win it, and he's in a feud with Cody in that ring. Nobody talks about that ring. Like he kissed the ring and showed it to the camera last night, and I was like, oh shit, they remembered that he has the ring.
Yeah,
I thought they forgot about that already. That's what you give that ring to somebody like Pac or someone like that who's not really doing too much, and it's like that's what you give them that because I mean I know Pac has this feud with Kenny, but Kenny's the tag champ, so what's he gonna do? When is that's what I mean. They're like
not going to be pulling double duty, so yeah, I understand what you're saying, but
like the ring, they need a mid card title. They need to do something
desperately, okay?
Yeah.
Desperately need to do that, fix the women's division, and also fix a little bit of the tag team, because again, yeah, Omega and Page are the champions, but feature better like the Lucha Bros. SCU, okay, like they got the win yesterday, but again, you need to give me like the best friends. We haven't seen them in a few weeks. What's going on with them?
Well, I mean, I was happy to see TH2 because they've only been wrestling on Dark. I honestly forgot about them, and then it's like you bring them out and they lose. And I understand, like I said, there was the nice tribute to Cody, Kobe, because they are from, California when he was with the Lakers and stuff. So it makes sense. SCU, they knew him personally. They were friends with him. So that was cool to see that. But so like you knew they were going to win. Like that's where you have like, I don't know, that's where you have them go against like a team like QT Marshall and whoever, like these loser guys, not these guys who you're trying to build up because TH2, like, okay, they lose. Who cares? Done. Like, I don't care about them. They lost.
Like nobody buys their merchandise.
Yeah. Like I haven't seen these guys in how many weeks on the main show. You finally have them on the show when they lose. Who cares?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's
just like, the booking needs to be a little better when it comes to Dynamite. So, guys, this wraps up our review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We've covered absolutely everything, so please don't forget to hit that button, subscribe for all the content that we do. We never sleep. We always put in stuff, and hit that bell also for all notifications. Every single video is linked up right there, so you can watch Raw, AEW, NXT, SmackDown, pay-per-views that we're all over. We did NXT Blackpool, we did Worlds Collide, we do NWA also, we did Royal Rumble predictions, and we did also like the results. So we have absolutely all wrestling covered, guys. Impact is also another one that we do. So guys, this summarizes everything. So please again keep watching our videos, and don't forget to check us on the social media world. It's right there. You can see it in the beautiful template. And Jean Paul and me, we want to say thank you once again. And we both also want to say